Forget everything you know because one terrifying shadow warrior built a mountain of corpses to secretly rule ancient feudal Japan. One man stood above all others because his name alone could strike cold terror into the hearts of his enemies. He moved through the darkness like a ghost, while his blade whispered the final secrets of death to those hunted. History remembers him as the demon ninja who controlled the shadows and commanded a secret army of silent, deadly killers. Legend says he could vanish in a puff of smoke or walk through solid walls to reach his intended targets. Warriors across the land whispered his name with deep respect and hidden fear during the bloody years of constant war. His reputation was built on blood and silent victories that changed the very course of Japanese history for many centuries. To understand this master of shadows, we must look past the stories and find the real man behind the mask. Was he a supernatural monster, or just a brilliant soldier who mastered the dark art of total deception and fear? Do you truly want to know why even the most fearless ninjas were terrified of the legendary master Hattori Hanzo? Most people today think ninjas were just common assassins who wore black silk pajamas and hid inside small wooden boxes. The truth is far more complex because real ninjas were actually highly trained intelligence officers serving powerful local warlord masters. They gathered vital information about enemy movements while wearing normal clothes to blend safely into the busy crowds of villagers. These secret agents were masters of disguise who could play any role from a humble priest to a simple farmer. They used clever psychology and hidden tools to complete their dangerous work without ever being seen by their many enemies. Hattori Hanzo was different because he was a samurai leader who also led the most elite ninja clans of Iga. He combined the honor of the samurai with the deadly secrets of the shadow warriors to become a perfect weapon. His men were not criminals, but loyal defenders who fought to bring peace and order to a broken Japanese land. Can you imagine the power of a man who ruled both the light of honor and the dark of shadows? How did a young boy from a warrior family begin his journey into this dangerous and mysterious world of shadows? Hanzo started his intense training at the young age of 8 in the wild mountains of rugged Iga province. He climbed steep cliffs and swam across icy rivers to build the incredible strength needed for a life of war. The masters of the Iga clan taught him how to breathe silently and move without making a single faint sound. He learned to use the terrain to his advantage and hide in plain sight by using only natural environmental shadows. His father was a great leader who pushed him to master every weapon from the long spear to tiny needles. Young Hanzo practiced for many hours every day until his hands were rough and his mind was sharp like steel. He was taught that a ninja must be like water because water can flow or it can suddenly crash down. By the time he was 18 years old, the young warrior was ready to face his very first real battle. What kind of impossible challenge would force this young man to prove his worth on a deadly field of fire? The first mission would test everything he had learned and change his life in ways he could never have imagined. Often jumped from high walls to escape death by using heavy capes to slow down their dangerous downward falls. At 16, Hanzo entered the castle of Yudo to rescue hostages held by a cruel and very powerful enemy general. He led a small team of night warriors through the secret tunnels hidden deep beneath the massive stone castle walls. They moved with absolute precision while avoiding the sharp eyes of the guards who were patrolling the high wooden towers. Hanzo used a specialized iron grappling hook to climb the vertical walls and enter through a high and unguarded window. Inside the dark room, he found the trapped family and led them out through the shadows of the sleeping fortress. The mission was a total success, and it proved that Hanzo was a master of both stealth and military strategy. His bravery caught the attention of a rising young leader who would soon become the most powerful man in Japan. Would Hanzo give his life to protect this man and help him unite the warring provinces under one single flag? This meeting began a legendary partnership that would change the fate of the entire Japanese nation for many years ahead. Used crushed red pepper to blind their enemies during sudden attacks before disappearing into the dark and misty night. Hanzo became the most trusted shadow warrior for Tokugawa Ieyasu because he always delivered results no matter the high cost. He promised to protect his master with his own life and led 300 elite Iga ninjas as his guard. They were the invisible shield that kept Ieyasu safe from the many assassins sent by his numerous rival warlord enemies. Hanzo spent his days planning complex defenses and his nights hunting down any spies who dared to enter their camp. He was more than a soldier because he was the mind behind the security of the future ruler of Japan. No one could move without his permission, and no secret was safe from the ears of his wide spy network. His loyalty was famous across the entire country, and his enemies knew that to reach Ieyasu they must kill Hanzo. But what would happen when Ieyasu was suddenly trapped in enemy territory with only Hanzo to save his very life? The greatest test of their bond was about to begin in a wild race through the most dangerous mountain paths. Used secret codes involving the colors of rice to send messages across long distances without any enemies ever knowing. When the leader Nobunaga died suddenly, Ieyasu was left stranded deep inside enemy land with no way to return home. Hanzo stepped forward and promised to guide his lord safely through the rugged Iga Mountains filled with hostile rebel soldiers. He used his local connections to secure safe passage through the many hidden villages of the deadly mountain ninja clans. They traveled at night and hid during the day to avoid the massive armies that were searching for the fugitives. At one point, Hanzo even convinced his old rivals to join him and protect the man who would be shogun. It was a race against time, as the enemy closed in from all sides trying to capture the future leader. Hanzo's brilliant leadership and knowledge of the terrain allowed them to reach the sea and find a safe escape boat. Can you imagine the relief of Ieyasu as he finally stepped onto the sand of his own safe home province? This incredible escape made Hanzo a legend, but what kind of terrifying weapons did he use to keep others away? Often used simple farming tools like sickles and chains to defeat samurai because these weapons were easy to hide. Hanzo was a master of the spear, but he was also famous for using the deadly and unpredictable chain sickle. He could strike an enemy from a distance and pull them close for a final blow with his sharp blade. His fighting style was fast and efficient because he never wasted any movement or energy during a deadly life struggle. He taught his followers that the best way to win a fight was to end it before it even started. This meant using smoke bombs to confuse the enemy and choosing the right moment to strike with perfect lethal timing. He also used psychological tricks like loud noises or strange lights to make his enemies believe he had magic powers. His speed was so great that some people claimed he could move faster than a speeding arrow in the wind. Was it truly possible for a human being to master such terrifying and efficient way of killing other men? The fear he created was his most powerful weapon of all because it broke the spirit of his many enemies. used small whistles that sounded like birds to communicate secret orders without alerting anyone to their own hidden presence. Hanzo was known as the Ghost because he could enter a room and leave without anyone knowing he was there. He planted rumors about his own supernatural abilities to keep his enemies in a state of constant and deep fear. Men would find their weapons stolen or their banners torn in the middle of the night by an unseen force. This psychological warfare made the enemy soldiers paranoid, and they often attacked each other in the dark of the night. Hanzo watched from the shadows and waited for the perfect moment to strike when his enemies were at most vulnerable. He believed that the mind was the most important battlefield, and he mastered it far better than any other man. His name became a curse that could stop an entire army from moving forward into the dark and unknown forest. Is there anything more terrifying than an enemy who you can never see until it is really already too late? But how much of these stories was actually true, and how much was just a clever lie to create fear? Never actually wore bright blue or orange because those colors would be far too easy to see at night. Over the years, the stories of Hattori Hanzo grew into legends that made him seem like a powerful mountain god. People said he could teleport across a battlefield and summon great storms to wash away his many brave enemy soldiers. The real Hanzo was likely a very disciplined man who worked hard to master the skills of a perfect soldier. He was a father and a leader who cared deeply for his men and the future of his own family. His success was not due to magic, but to his incredible intelligence and his ability to adapt to any situation. He died peacefully in his bed, but his name lived on in every shadow of the great city of Edo. Today, a great gate in the center of Tokyo still carries his famous name as a reminder of his power. Was he a hero who saved a nation or a killer who lived only for the dark thrill of war? His legacy remains a mystery that continues to haunt the history of the legendary and the dark land of Japan. Word ninja actually means a person who endures and has the great patience to survive even the hardest challenges. Hattori Hanzo was the ultimate example of this spirit because he survived the bloodiest time in all of Japanese history. He showed us that true strength is not just about killing, but about building a future where peace can grow. His life reminds us that the shadows are not always evil, but can be a place where heroes are born. We still look to his story today to understand the complex nature of human courage and the meaning of loyalty. He was the bridge between the old ways of war and the new era of a united and stable Japan. The ghost of Hanzo still walks in our imagination and reminds us to always watch the shadows very carefully tonight. Whether he was a demon or a savior, he remains the most famous ninja to ever walk the earth today. His legend will never fade because the world will always need a master of shadow to protect the light tomorrow. Do you now understand why the name of Hattori Hanzo is still whispered with such deep respect and great fear?